Hey there, VCE HHD students. My name's Andy. I'm a VC Health and Human Development teacher. In this short video, going to look at answering the 2023 VCE HHD exam, question number 9. Before we dive into this video, if you're a 2025 HHD student, you might be interested in getting your hands on this ACE revision questions book for HHD that I have authored and has been published recently. So it's got more than 500 marks worth of practice questions for the 2025 to 2029 new HHD study design. That'll help you prepare for Unit 3 and 4 SACs and the end of your exam, and they're broken down into the different course topics within the HHD Unit 3 and 4 course. It also includes comprehensive mark-by-mark answer guide to each question and a full chapter on how to answer expanded response questions, including some sample questions and A+ answers, and also a full Unit 3 and 4 trial exam. So if you head to book.acevc.com, you can place an order, and they're going into the post daily, and so you can get your hands on that soon. So question 9 from the 2023 exam was worth 10 marks, and part A asked you for 1 mark, what is sanitation? So this really emphasizes that importance of knowing your glossary terms for those important terms in the HHD study design. So talking about something along the lines of removing hazardous waste from the environment or the safe disposal of human waste would have gotten you 1 mark for that. Then for B, for 2 marks, it started by saying that in 2020, nearly 820 million children did not have basic hand washing facilities at school. And the question was, explain how the lack of access to basic hand washing facilities contributes to the burden of disease for children. So remember, when you see burden of disease in a question, you should be linking into YLL, YLD, or DALY. And it's also useful, I think, to mention a condition associated with whatever the particular concept is the question is focusing on. And so for 2 marks, you need to link into one of those aspects of burden of disease. So you can see here the examiner's report. So for 9A, okay, you can see here, even though it's relatively straightforward, you would think describing sanitation, okay, less than 50% of students are able to achieve a mark. You can see here some examples of how you could have achieved that mark. And then for B, okay, to achieve 2 marks, okay, you needed to mention, okay, either that link to DALY, YLL, or YLD. And it mentioned the answer was, okay, the question was answered quite well. Okay, you can see there about 80% of students got either 1 or 2 marks, and they gave a sample high scoring response here, which means that if children can't adequately wash their hands after going to the toilet, they might ingest fecal matter when eating, and that could lead to diseases such as diarrheal disease. So there's a link into that disease, which I said is a good idea when you're answering questions on burden of disease. And therefore, a lack of access to basic hand washing facilities may lead to children experiencing increased YLD associated with diarrheal disease. So years of life lost due to living with disease. I think that would also be a good phrase to include in an answer like that. So then C for 3 marks was asking you to outline, okay, 1 example of a social action that individuals could engage with and justify how this could increase access to hand washing facilities. So you can see here, okay, there was a number of different ways that students could have linked to social actions. And so you can see here this sample answer they've given was lobbying the government by designing and sending letters to a member of parliament about providing more support to countries that have poor hand washing facilities. And that's an example of social action because it's using your voice to make a difference by encouraging governments to acknowledge the issue and take action. And that might contribute to more funding for aid programs, which could assist in implementing programs to provide greater access to facilities in schools for hand washing in low-income countries. So they did mention here that, donating money to a country is not really a realistic example of a social action, but donating money to an NGO who could then run programs to provide hand washing facilities for children would be, okay, an appropriate example. So make sure for those sort of 3 mark questions that you probably write a little bit more than you might think is expected. So give your social action, okay, outline what it means, okay, is carried out in relation to that, and then how that can increase access to hand washing facilities, just to try to ensure you achieve those 3 marks. Okay, so HRH has, okay, some sample answers for the 2023 VCE HHD exam. And so if you'd like to get your hands on those, that includes the sample answers and some considerations for each question. You can talk to your teacher about that. Now, question D, okay, then asks you to explain the importance of environmental sustainability in promoting 2 dimensions of health and well-being globally. And you had to refer to a different example of environmental sustainability in each part of your answer. So you can see there, okay, you're linking into an example of environmental sustainability and then linking that on to, okay, 2 different dimensions of health and well-being. So essentially it's broken up into 2 sort of 2 mark questions. So we can have a look at this examiner Examiner's report once again here, and you can see this question was really poorly answered with only 3% of students achieving 4 marks. So it said here, okay, some examples of environmental sustainability that students could link into, such as reducing climate change or clean energy generation or protecting water sources or sustainable agricultural practices. And so then you had to link that into, okay, dimensions of health and well-being. It also mentions here that when you're linking into environmental sustainability, a reference to future generations, okay, was, okay, a good idea to show the fact that you're linking into that sustainability aspect. Sorry, and if you go back here, okay, you can see that sort of the question also mentions globally as part of the answer. So that means that students had to link into health and well-being in a global context. So if you see the high scoring responses sample here, they've said that environmental sustainability can mean the effects of climate change are mitigated through a reduction in greenhouse gases, and that can result in decreased temperature and subsequent bushfires, resulting in reduction in injury due to bushfires, promoting physical health and well-being globally. So I've made that reference to globally there. And then their second example, environmental sustainability can mean that food sources in the environment are used in a way that can be maintained into the future. So that once again linking to sustainability there. Therefore, people around the world, so they're kind of linking into globally there, are less likely to worry about whether the planet will run out of food, and that can reduce stress and anxiety levels and promote mental health and well-being globally. So you can see there was quite a bit that was expected in those answers, and that's probably part of the reason why not a high number of students achieved full marks. But just keep in mind there, so the references to sustainability, so talking about into the future or ongoing basis, and then links into globally, so worldwide or on a global scale is important if you see that in a question. Okay, hopefully you found that video useful. If you're on our YouTube channel, you can subscribe with the button in the bottom corner of the video there to get alerts to new videos coming out and lead up to the exam and later on in the year. There's over 190 videos already available with SAC and exam tips and other HHD advice, so please go through and have a look at our back catalogue if you haven't already. Head to our website, thehh.net.au, where there's opportunities for teachers and students. You can also see our social media links there and also our email if you'd like to get in touch. Thanks so much.